Game 3 of the World Series is tonight. We've seen Game 1. We've seen Game 2. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, absolutely dominant. The dude is unbelievably good. Game 1, the Blue Jays kind of smacked around the Dodgers, got to that bullpen, things that we've all talked about here on the Windup. Apologies for not giving you instant reactions after the game. We're figuring it out. We're learning over here. But we're going to talk about, do the Blue Jays even have a chance? How many games are the Dodgers going to win this in? All the stuff that we want to about this series. It's just going to be a little bit of a 2-day recap so far of the 2025 World Series. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you have not yet done so. We do appreciate you over there doing that. And we opened up memberships, totally not necessary, but if you want extra content, bonus content, go join the membership program. We do appreciate it. Now, James, on to these games. I mean, just because of the recency, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I think we've kind of talked about this already before, but he's one of the 3 best pitchers on the entire planet. He's so good.
I'll tell you 4. I'll still give it to Garrett Crochet, Paul Skeens, and Tarek Skubal. But just
what's your reasoning to give it to Crochet over them?
I mean, maybe it's just a little bit of bias from seeing in the regular season, but now we're also getting to see how great it is that the Dodgers did take it a bit easy in Yamamoto over the course of the regular season. Now being able to see him push the limits in the playoff games, back-to-back postseason complete games. It's the first time this happened in a quarter of a century. It's obscene what he did, and I think it is really especially important what he did because the way the Blue Jays won on Friday night, they had mountains of momentum. It felt like they had a chance, not like knock the Dodgers out, because you can never say a team that knocks the Dodgers out, but to land a crazy right hook to the chin that could really put them on their ass a little bit. And you had that in the first inning where it looked like Gosman was going to cruise through 1. Then Freeman kind of fights after being down 2-0, getting that to the double. Then Will Smith singles him home. When you had guys on, no one on with 2 outs. And then the Jays get first and third after only a handful of pitches in the game. And you're like, whoa. They can actually, if they steam back again, now you have something. And Yamamoto fell behind 2-0 on Vlad Guerrero. And all of a sudden, you just saw splitter. And the second he had the hold of that pitch, you're like, oh, shit. Like, we're going to do something special here. And I know the Blue Jays did tie the game up soon thereafter, but that super changed the flow of the series instantly. When they had the heart of their order, there were 2 guys on, didn't get a run. That was like okay, this is now going to be much more of a fight.
Yeah, and similarly in Game 1, we kind of saw that too, where they had a chance to really break it open, but they did tie the game up, I believe, right? In Game 1, before Varsho struck out, they were able, or no, they still kept at 1-0 at that point. But the Blue Jays in Game 1 got at the opportunities early, and even a couple times squandered them too with some base running mistakes or just Blake Snell getting out of it. But it is so important, and we've talked about it before. Jumping on the Dodgers early is massively important. You need to push their backs up against the wall more so than other teams because this bullpen is horrible. This bullpen is pitiful. And the key and the way that the Dodgers are going to win these games, besides having good hitters and stuff like that, is by simply not letting the bullpen almost get any outs. And in Game 2, the one that they won, what do you know? The bullpen didn't get a single out. You have to find a way to get these guys out of the game. And like you said, they got the run a little bit later on in the 3rd inning, the Blue Jays, but Yamamoto, from that point on, I think did not allow a single base runner on. He was so in control, so dominant, that splitter, the fastball. Like every single pitch that Yamamoto has is just absolutely disgusting, and he's got pinpoint accuracy. It's been a while since we've seen a pitcher in the postseason locked in like this.
It was technical beauty, too, because, again, it kept with just being splitters and curveballs over and over again while being able to dot his fastballs low. We've talked a little bit about Yamamoto throwing the fastballs low. That was kind of a conversation last year. Remember when they signed him again for the $325 million, and he had not a good April? People were like, oh, my gosh, look what they did. And people were talking about Yamamoto's fastball having that great that backspin on it, that little hop on it. Like, he was throwing it low in the zone. No one could figure out why. But now in a game like this, you can see that because when you can throw that and get that rising action, like we say in air quotes, and pick off the bottom of the zone when they're looking for the splitter or the curveball, you really just get buckled every single time. And he buckled hitters over and over and over again with that. And I feel like if you ask the average baseball fan who's the highest paid pitcher in the league, like 3 out of 100 people would say Yoshinobu Yamamoto. But now watching the way he's buzzed through these playoffs, watching him pitch in the World Series last year, it's getting to the point where, like, of course he's not the best player in the Dodgers, but like, is he the most consequential? Is he the most important pitcher? Like, there's conversations if Ohtani didn't exist that he's one of the most important players in all baseball, the most important free agent acquisitions we've seen in a long time.
I mean, back-to-back complete games for Yamamoto in the playoffs, something we hadn't seen in a vacuum.
Years.
Yeah, in a vacuum. Yes, I think he might be just because, again, how bad this Dodgers bullpen is. For him to not even be able to give the ball to the bullpen, you're guaranteed to win right now when this guy's on the mound. He's been that good. And like you said, that low fastball tunnels so well off the splitter that you really are just playing a 50-50 game. I thought it was super funny seeing Jonathan Lucroy online talking about how he would approach Yamamoto. He did acknowledge that Yamamoto's disgusting, but almost like took a little bit of a critique too at the Blue Jays hitters being like, you got to just try and hit the fastball. It's like, dude,
Yeah,
I
no
think it's
shit.
a little bit harder than like you're just explaining it. Like the guy's coming with 97, 98 at your knees, but then sometimes that pitch ends up in the dirt and it knuckles basically.
Especially the fact that he was even a lot of times, especially as the game went on, he was kind of using that curveball to get me over pitch. Like he was
Yeah.
surprising hitters with that curveball because they were so keyed into the fastball and the splitter.
You see a hump, you're like, what?
Yeah.
No. Like, come on. That's not what I'm looking for.
And then all of a sudden, like just when he needed to, as the lineup got around a couple of times, like all of a sudden he has the cutter and the slider. He plays off each other as well for the right-handed batters. And it's just like it's such an embarrassment of riches. And I do love that every single time Yamamoto takes the mound, Josh Reddick gets ratioed again
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
because he had the famous tweet like, "How can you give someone $325 million who's never thrown a pitch?" And the top reply is, "Baseball's ruined." And he was like, "I agree." And now every single credit to him for keeping that tweet up because
He doesn't know how to delete it.
it just got quote tweeted. I think it's up to like 12 million impressions now, but it's kind of true. And then it's also like talking about Yamamoto on the field's amazing, but like all the little fastidious things he does off of it are so cool. Like, did you see the video of the Dodgers guys bowing down to him after the
Oh,
game?
yeah.
Roki bowed down to him. Apparently, he cleaned up the dugout after the game as well, which is
Well,
insane.
that's like a huge thing in Japanese culture. I just noticed from my friend, shout out Wheels. He's always our Japanese correspondent for baseball. If we ever have anything with NPB going on, shout out Wheels. But they don't have garbage cans on the street. You take your garbage home with you. They're
That's
like
cool.
it's very. I mean, it's nice. You don't have garbage flying around everywhere. Keeping things clean is important.
Very important. And also, there's the video that went so viral of him writing handwritten notes in his notebook in between innings.
That's
I'm
kind of
just
sick.
like,
That's old school shit right there.
it's very cool. Then you look at the guy and you're like, he's first of all, he's 27 years old, which is shocking. He's 5'8", maybe. He weighs like 175 pounds, and he's like kind of laughing and smiling on the mound. He's an assassin. What else is all going on though?
It's basically me on the mound. He's listed at 5'10", 176. We know he's probably 5'9", 176. That's me.
That's literally you. But the funny thing is too, this game was super in the balance the whole time.
Yeah.
Like this game was 1-1 forever, and
Well,
he
Gosman was so good. Like I know he gave up the runs, but Gosman at one point I think retired like 15 or 16 in a row as well.
it was until the
And-
Will Smith homer.
Yeah, until the Will Smith homer. And I saw a stat where it was like that's the first time in playoff history, I think World Series history, where both starting pitchers had a stretch where they retired 16 or 17 guys in a row. He was so good until he wasn't.
But that's also part of this too. And I want to keep talking about Yamamoto, but now I want to bring stuff more into the series in general because I just watching both these games. I want to give both these teams, both these organizations credit. It's been great fucking baseball.
Good baseball.
Lots of little things being done well, lots of obvious big things being done well. And the Blue Jays did something really cool on Friday night where Trey Savage, all the pressure in the world. We talked about him with you guys in the preview that he was in Double A in June. It just got to Double A in June.
He was an A-ball. He was in Dunedin to start the year or whatever.
Got drafted last year, hadn't thrown a professional pitch until this year, but he's a rookie starting game one of the World Series, top of the first inning, first pitch, Shohei Ohtani, and he handled it so damn well. Like he was very composed. You kind of feel it with him. There was definitely butterflies and jitters, but he got it together. And while he looked good, not great, I think it was crisp, but I think there was still some tense moments, some of those plate appearances. Absolutely, John Schneider takes him out second time through the order.
Yes.
No ifs, ands, or buts. No questions about it. He was pitching well, but we're not dealing with that. And he put Mason Fluharty, like we talked about how important he was going to be in the series in the preview. It's like, you're facing Shohei Ohtani to start, I think it was the fifth inning with nobody on base. And then credit to Fluharty and Sir Anthony Dominguez to get the Blue Jays in position for the huge rally against Snell and Sheehan and of course, Anthony Banda to win game one. But then, while it's not the wrong decision, of course, we're not going to Monday morning quarterback it. That's the exact opposite thing that happened with Kevin Gausman, where in game two, because he was in such a groove, and don't think it was the wrong decision, but he goes on and on and on. He's getting all the way through a lineup for the third time. He gets to Will Smith, who he got the hit off him the first inning. It was a tough at bat against him in whatever, the third or the fourth. And funny thing about Gausman and Will Smith in this game, Gausman never threw him a splitter.
Why?
And he only threw him one non-fastball, and it was the slider he hit for a single, which was also kind of bad ball hitting by Smith. He kind of just flunked his bat head on the ball, got the run in. Weird thing for Gausman not to trust that pitch because that's his pitch. But then to have a situation where you're facing a guy for the third time who's, again, truthfully probably one of the 10 best hitters in baseball, doesn't get the credit for it. I know you guys hit me up on TikTok at the fact that
mad
I
about
overrated
Alejandro
Will
Kirk.
Smith, and now look what happened. Will Smith took over this game because that's the kind of player he is. you don't have anything in your bag against the guy you're facing for the third time. I know he just retired 15 or 16 in a row, whatever it was, but very different process. Again, for very different players, for Savage and Gosman the first two games, and very different results on the back of both of those.
Yeah, I think the big problem here is, and it's going to be the positive for the Dodgers, the negative for the
Yeah.
Blue Jays in this game. You flip it on the other side for game one, is that you look at this Blue Jays bullpen, and regardless of what you guys in the comment section want to tell us, the Blue Jays bullpen is not very good. It is
It's
not a
totally
bullpen.
fine.
It is not a bullpen you feel confident with, but it's not a bullpen that you're like, oh my God, they're coming in the game, it's over, like it is with the Dodgers. Like you think the Dodgers are going to blow it every single time, especially after game one. You're like, who in the world is going to get the final outs if it's not the starting pitcher? But with the Blue Jays, I think this is the case of Kevin Gausman, relatively speaking, of all the guys that were available to pitch, he's your best pitcher.
By far.
I think John Schneider probably went, even Kevin Gausman at 80 pitches is still better than a fresh Louis Varland. And while he was wrong, he also wasn't wrong because Louis Varland came in, got smacked around too. And then Jeff Hoffman came in and couldn't get it out. And then like there were times where there was almost no right answer. And that kind of sucks, especially from the content creation standpoint of like, you can't really have a take because anything that you would have said there would have been the wrong decision. Probably the Dodgers just make that happen because they're so fucking good.
I didn't even look back through because I was like, were there any also just signals to get Gausman out of this game? Like the velocity was fine.
Nope.
The command, it wasn't perfect command. But Gausman never.
The Dodgers just beat him like that. Sometimes that happens, and when you are the Dodgers, who are the best team in baseball on paper, sometimes you just beat teams because you're better.
And I think on the flip side of this, I think the Blue Jays were better on Friday. And I think
100%, yeah.
They won for that reason. I love the fact that how that rally happened because it started with like the classic Blue Jays shit where it's like dinky single, bullshit single, tough at bat, draw walk. They were really getting on Blake Snell early too.
He did not have it, Snell.
No, but that happens to Blake Snell. Again, me calling him a future Hall of Famer. I thought it also was funny that he got game one instead of Yamamoto just because of how nails Yamamoto's been. But Yamamoto didn't have a great start against the Phillies. So again, these are two of the 10 best pitchers in the world. So understanding it's kind of, you can't really go wrong picking who's starting one, who's starting two. But we talked exactly about the inflection point. The pressure point for this Dodgers team was getting one of these pitchers out before the sixth and Sheehan coming in.
We were literally so fucking right about that because as soon as Sheehan came into the game, it was all over. The game was no longer in reach for the Dodgers. I know Snell gave up a bunch, but Sheehan was he can't pitch in relief again. He probably can't pitch the rest of the series unless the Dodgers are down big, right?
But he has to because there's no one else to be a bridge guy.
Next.
But the Dodgers plan.
Give me Will Klein.
You need someone to go 7. And the fact that this was the first time, which felt like in weeks, that someone didn't go 7 for them, you're like, okay, now Sheehan has to be the guy to get the outs. And then he comes in, hit, walk, hit. Of course, Ernie Clement gets the go-ahead single because who else would do that? And then also such a cool thing because, again, Snell pitching game 1 instead of Yamamoto. The Blue Jays have the righties in. So David Schneider's in the 2-hole. David Schneider's the lefty masher. Addison Barger comes in. Addison Barger, just based on his physical abilities, his batted ball metrics, I think a lot of teams would consider him something like a cornerstone. He's sitting on the bench because doesn't have to face a lefty in this game, which again, then Bandit comes in. They still trust Barger. Barger hits the grand slam. And a lot of people, I think, are conflating the Blue Jays sometimes on social media this week with being some kind of like plucky underdog, small market team.
Yes.
When there's a team that has a top 5 payroll in baseball, this team that has great, we've seen it this year, incredible player development. Everything that people are saying about David Hopkins is amazing out there. So many
except the one where they're like, everyone's trying to run with the narrative that the Blue Jays are like soft hitting, contact oriented. Yeah, that's why they're winning games. You want to know why the contact and the soft hits are falling? It's because the Blue Jays hitting coach got them to all swing harder. When you swing harder, the ball's going to be hit farther. And those pitches that they're getting jammed on because they did make good contact before, now they're falling a little bit more. It's one of those whole things where it's like, we are misconstruing the fact that the Blue Jays are getting singles as them being a singles-oriented team. They hit for power. They got pop.
And misconstruing the fact that this is a good organization. And when a guy like Barger gets that big hit, it's like this is a crazy analogy here, but kind of like, you eat a bunch of fiber and vegetables and like a healthy organization can just shit out of a guy like Addison Barger. Who's just Who's just a great role player who just happens to be kind of not super relied upon in these situations. It's just
bat speed king.
That bat speed king again. Everyone on this team swinging hard right now. Everybody's taking good at-bats. And you can also feel with the Blue Jays in that game on Friday where they were trying to grind out Blake Snell.
Yes.
They were not aggressive early in counts. Then the second that bullpen came in, we're going to fucking swing. Like Great approach, great mindset on top of this. And it's
Anthony Banda remembered he's Anthony Banda for the first time in years, it feels like.
And it's also so funny because we talked about in the preview, the Dodgers only have lefties. If you gotta get anybody out in this Blue Jays team, it has to be the lefties. And you
Yeah.
have the opportunity for the lefty to get yourself out of that jam before things get out of control, and you still wind up blowing the game. But the big takeaway probably from these first two games is that this is a real series.
Yeah, this is a real series. The Blue Jays have a chance. Again, I still think it's very much Dodgers leaning. This is the Dodger series to lose right now, in my opinion. If you're the betting favorites, I think the Dodgers got to be. If it's 1-1, I still feel like you probably like them, just like you did if it was 0-0. But the Blue Jays, they're gonna scrap away at least one more win in this series. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, I don't think they're going down quietly. And while
Fuck no.
game 2 felt more like what we expected, where it was gonna be like the Dodgers just were better at the end, game 1 shows you that the Blue Jays can hit any pitcher except probably Yoshinobu Yamamoto, which nobody's really hitting.
Totally. And also Glass now, who's going to be pitching game 3 for the Dodgers Monday night. He has a little bit of Blake Snell in him too, where
Yes.
sometimes if you kind of just force him to nibble because you're taking pitches and you're fouling things off, it hasn't happened so far this postseason. You can definitely frustrate Tyler Glasnow. You can definitely get him out of the game before the 5th or 6th inning, and then
The
you can do
other
this again.
the other scary thing though too is if you are patient with Glass now and you get the version of him where
Yeah, they
he's
just
locked
destroy
in,
you.
it's a no hitter. The game's over, and you have Yoshinobu Yamamoto all over again in game 3, where you're like, oh, it's the 8th inning. We have 3 hits, we have no runs, and Tyler Glass now has 85 pitches. Like, that's the scary thing about this Dodgers team, is just that the top end of all these guys you're not beating. But if you can get that half range of them, the Blue Jays can totally jump all over them and beat them.
So maybe that's part of this too. Maybe they have to zig now when the Dodgers thought they were zagging. Like maybe now you come out aggressive. I still think that it's a mentality, especially in a 7-game series like this. Especially the fact that I think we're going to have these 3 games in 3 consecutive days, if I'm not mistaken, coming up
Yeah.
this week. You do want to keep playing the chippy shit, and you want
Yes.
to get to that
100%.
bullpen. Anything you can possibly do to get Glasnow out of this game, even in the 6th inning, like we saw with Snell on Friday night, like that changes everything for you. But then again, it's about Max Scherzer and Shane Bieber
Yes.
holding down these Dodgers stats.
That's the biggest
Yeah.
scary part about this, is getting to Savage and Gosman again in this rotation. I know Bieber's been fine in the postseason. He had a good start against the Mariners in one of the games. Didn't have as much of a good start in the next one. Scherzer's kind of whatever. I don't think you can really feel confident still with Max Scherzer, and if you do, God bless you, but that's not me. That's the scary part, is in Dodger Stadium. We've seen how that Dodger crowd can just completely change an inning for this team. That team gets going at Dodger Stadium, it snowballs. It absolutely turns into an avalanche. It's terrifying. Not that the crowd's going to get in the pitcher's head. I know people were mad about us saying that with Roki, because they're like, Roki doesn't understand English. He said the Philly crowd didn't upset him or whatever. I'm like, whatever. Who cares? You get what we're saying. This Dodgers team at home against those pitchers, where the Dodgers hitters have the massive, massive, massive advantage, that's terrifying if you're a Blue Jays fan.
Flip side of that, it did kind of feel like exactly what happened though on Friday with the Blue Jays crowd.
Yes.
And like this is, and again,
Because the Rogers Center crowd, all-time crowd. Like the Canadians, I never expected anything less of them just for how loud they are on Twitter. I knew that they were going to be loud in person, and the Canadians are a rambunctious, group of guys, considering what they do with hockey and stuff. They go crazy. But those pop-offs, and again, the George Springer home run, even going back to the ALCS, those are some of the loudest pop-offs I've heard in the playoffs in a very long time.
Sportsnet had a good video where they had a decibel meter inside the stadium,
Ooh.
someone holding it like on their official Twitter account, I believe. And they were like just panning around as that home run happened. But this is, again, the one thing I want you guys to take from this is good baseball. This is going
Great
to be
baseball.
a really fun 3 days in Los Angeles, where truthfully anything can happen. If you put a gun to my head and was like, who was picked to win this World Series? I'm still telling you it's the Dodgers, but I definitely would not feel as confident about that after this. And
I feel like it is a little bit of a 3-game series though right now, where like if you
Kinda,
win,
yeah.
whoever gets to the next 2 wins first, I think is winning the series. So if the Blue Jays win out of the next 3 games, if they win 2, I think they're winning it. If the Dodgers win 2, I think the Dodgers are winning it. I really think it comes down to who can take 2 in LA.
But now I'm also, from an objective baseball fan perspective, as someone who had the 50-1 future in the Blue Jays, as someone
Yes.
who's hedged off of that now, I just want 7 games. All I want 7 games. I'm gonna be
Good
selfish.
baseball.
I want to get to 7. I want to see these teams work, and also we're going to keep talking about these like small little process things that are happening, because I think they're fun. And there was another one that a tweet from the truth from Ben Bizier, his bio just says a baseball gentleman. Talk about the 9th inning with Yamamoto, where the second and 9th inning happened, even though nothing was wrong. Dave Roberts got Roki hot. He got in the
As
bullpen. He
every
was throwing.
manager should always have with one of their best relievers that you consider in your bullpen. They should always be hot in the ninth inning of playoff games.
Totally. And even though nothing was wrong, there was no drama, and there was no drama, but the fact that Roki got hot, even when that game ended and there was media and people were talking and the Dodgers were happy, Roki came to the mound and he goes to the mound, he got dry reps in where he just pitched. But he didn't throw the ball. But he got his dry reps in. He came to the mound while his heart was elevated, ran out there, and still went through the process. I think that's something that, again, talked about these kind of situations possibly getting in Roki's head. Just him getting to that mound before he might have to in a possible game 6 or game 7 situation, because you went through the 2 games surrounding, you didn't get to the mound. So
yes,
you don't want it to be your first time ever when it is a bit of a fragile figure to do that. So just as heart was elevated, he stood there. These teeny tiny little things happen like that. And you see these in both teams, you're like, this is really cool. Like even that play that Blake Snell made, it was the second inning on that nubber from Springer.
I was sick to cover first,
yes,
and then make the throw across to third base on an absolute dot. Like that was awesome baseball.
And Blake Snell kind of gets shit on sometimes because he's not the best athlete. He doesn't really look the most engaged all the time.
He doesn't have a jawline.
Yeah, he doesn't. He has a strange body. Even I'll go that far to say, but him to go across the diamond, run there, make that play, turn around, bang, 120 feet to third base on a dime to do that. Just you have good baseball players and good baseball teams. It's really great for the sport right now to watch this and appreciate it.
If your life was depending on it, James, who's winning? How many games?
Dodgers in 6. So one more game left all originally.
I really hate you. That was what I was going to say. So I'll go Dodgers in 7. Dodgers in 7. Give me a 7-game series. It really is good baseball, even though the final scores haven't been close. These games have been close.
Oh, literally nail biters. If you're looking at the box score, it's not telling the story in these games.
Not at all. Which is why you should watch. And you should also continue watching the Windup. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Click that sub button. Again, if you're interested in the membership, click join. We appreciate anybody. Totally not necessary, but appreciate those who do. Drop a like on the video. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Draft Nick Mark with the C. We'll catch you guys. I don't know when next. If there's a big game sometime 3, maybe we'll talk again. But if not, we'll see you sometime this week. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.